Good morning, everybody, and the Christmas season is amongst us again. It's really fantastic. It's great to see so many people in Lutterworth Friday evening for the light switch on, and loads of you tasted my soup. We had a record night, 138 litres. We made and gave away of homemade soup. Absolutely wonderful. A good time was had by all, I think. Very good. So we're pretty Christmassy now. And to bring us down to earth, theme for this week is democracy. Okay. And so you'll be learning a bit about this in assemblies and things like that. Right then, our thought for the week is from Abraham Lincoln, who was the first president of the United States. And he says this: democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Right then, now we are a democratic society here in the UK and mostly in the West. And it is, in my opinion, one of the most fair systems that there are, because most people get a say in what is going on. There's freedom of speech, things like that, but we all get a vote, so you do get a say in what is going on. Ironically, Abraham Lincoln was also the first president to be assassinated by somebody who didn't agree with him. So it obviously has its flaws, but this is where we need the point of law, which is something that we looked at last week. And it can't be a perfect system because, of course, human beings aren't perfect. So the flaws in democracy come through the weaknesses in human beings. And there are all sorts of anomalies that go on. And just recently, we've seen in democracy some strange things that have gone on. And I look at the presidential elections in America, to have a little dig at America. Out of 325 million people, they end up with two people, Clinton and Trump, and they are so unpopular, both of them. I don't know how they managed to do that. But there's lots of controversy, and then you see a weakness in the system. People who have voted the other way are angry that the other guy got in, and it's just a bit strange. And the same with Brexit. I mean, what is that all about? When there is a vote, it's not wrong, it's the way of the people. Whether it's a good or a bad decision, that is almost irrelevant. What is right is that the people have their say, and that's what happens with democracy. And it doesn't always go as we expect either. History will always say that Winston Churchill was a good guy and that he was very important in Britain and its allies winning the Second World War. And he was a man for the moment. But you know what? He wasn't that popular. And just before the end of the Second World War, he was voted out. So he wasn't loved. He was a guy who was prepared to fight in wartime, and he really, really cared for Britain. But you see, democracy doesn't always go the way you expect it to. And of course, Adolf Hitler was voted in, so it's quite interesting. As a Christian faith school, I just want to balance this out a little bit. What does the Bible say? This is a huge contrast. St. Paul says, "Let the message of Christ dwell amongst you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom, through psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts." So I expect to hear lots of singing and praising today, and that's just the teachers as we go around school. Now then, as far as looking at the point of law and democracy and adhering to our authorities, this is what the Apostle Paul says. He says, "Remind the people to be subject to the rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready to do whatever is good, to slander no one, to be peaceable and considerate, and always to be gentle towards everyone." So you see, even in our political systems, if our characters are right, if our hearts are right, then things will definitely go better. So democracy, it's an interesting thing. It is guided by character, and there are some pitfalls, but it is a pretty fair system. So democracy is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. That's Abraham Lincoln. Okay, God bless you. Have a fantastic week.